current form of money that we have today is obsolete. We've been using the same system for centuries. What we need is a new form of money that is fit for the future.
We believe that blockchain technology is the future of finance, bringing trust and transparency to any transaction. In payments, its programmability allows banks and payment firms to innovate for their customers. While in capital markets, tokenization of all kinds of asset classes is connecting issuers to deep pools of entirely new investors.
The impact of blockchain to finance is actually just as big as the impact of the internet to society. It really is transformative and changing the entire underlying architecture and the infrastructure of what we use today. Blockchain allows us to have smart money. Smart money allows us to program new types of logic, new types of functionality into money to do things that is really fit for purpose for the 21st century.
But there's a problem. Blockchain is often costly and complex to implement properly, and most enterprises lack the specialist knowledge required.
Each of the blockchain technologies is really complicated, and it's quite a niche skill, right? They were only invented a few years ago. There's not millions of developers that know this.
It's a new nascent technology that's hugely transformative, but difficult to integrate and difficult to bring into any financial institution.
Its usefulness is undermined by a lack of common standards, the inability of assets deployed on one blockchain to run on another, and the fact that bridges between networks and poorly written smart contracts can be exploited.
I founded Quant with the vision of really changing the entire architecture of our financial system. The pain points that everyone faced with blockchain technology was a barrier to its adoption. And so we set out very early on to remove all the friction, change all the perceptions of blockchain, and make it easy to integrate into any corporate or enterprise system.
Until now, we've been applying our expertise in standards, interoperability, and secure smart contracts to a few transformational projects. We've worked on national infrastructure in Italy, a cross-border payments network in Latin America, and most recently on Project Rosalind.
Project Rosalind is our collaboration with the Bank of England and the Bank of International Settlement to understand and test with the industry what a retail central bank digital currency looks like.
On the infrastructure side, we hosted the blockchain. We built the smart contracts. We exposed the smart contracts to a kind of a back-end API. So this is the technical work. And we're also involved in kind of building the requirements. Right? So we spent a lot of time in workshops with all of the other folks in the project, building out how should this work. So there's a lot of detail in that. So in terms of participation, we put a lot of expertise into the project. We put a lot of experience into the project, and then we did all the technical work as well.
What we learned was there's a way we can make money, a digital pound, for example, smart. We saw firsthand participants like the Central Bank of Canada, Amazon, Barclays, MasterCard use this innovative escrow technology that we built to create new types of payments and new types of flows.
We're proud to announce that the same interoperable technology, the same expertise in blockchain and secure smart contracts, the same commitment to security and resilience that has underpinned all of our work to date is now available to anyone with the launch of Overledger platform.
We're launching Overledger platform as the enterprise standard for building on blockchain. We've taken all the experience and work that we've done for the Bank of England, Bank of International Settlement, and opened that up for the rest of the industry to use.
By using Overledger between their technology and the blockchains, they've got a standardized API layer that translates all of the messages that are needed, which means that people can build faster, they can build more securely, they can build without hiring external developers, they can use their existing in-house developers. And not only that, they can connect their existing technologies. So rather than building a whole new platform, take the platform you've got and build a blockchain module for it using Overledger. You could get to market 3, 6, 9 times faster depending on your use case.
Blockchain projects need this kind of technology. It makes the projects faster, it makes them cheaper, and it makes them last a lot longer once they're built. So Overledger platform is just a massive enabler.
Overledger is a game changer because it allows people to connect to blockchains without knowing anything about them. We have all of our APIs in a business language, so you don't have to have any expertise in blockchain to be able to connect to them. It just makes it super easy and super simple.
It's our way of creating mass adoption of the technology. It's an enterprise way to access this new innovative technology without having all the friction and the barriers and the challenges that come with it.
Overledger platform is simple, trusted, and future-proof. It's available today from our website.
You know, you see some of these ones referenced here, obviously ANAPA, Innovate Finance, but the key area for you should be the UK finance. Now, why are we addressing this tonight? Well, there was an update in regards to yesterday, straight from the Quant Network website once again, and we'll take you right to that. So for one, the update yesterday, because today's the 18th, talks about Quant joins UK finance. Who posted this? It's Andrew Carrier. You know, he's the main marketing guy when it comes to Quant. Now, getting into this, I'm going to show you some key tags. They tagged associations, Digital Innovation Summit, and financial institutions. It says Quant and UK Finance 2023 associate member. Andrew Carrier kind of gets into this outline. It's not super long, but he states that UK Finance acts to enhance competitiveness, support customers, and facilitate innovation. Basically speaking, Quant Network is proud to announce that they have joined the UK's preeminent financial services association. They will be speaking at UK Finance's Digital Innovation Summit later this month. And we introduced this. You know, Quant Papa had these particular dates and why it was a big deal. You even have R3. Remember how we pointed that out? I don't know if you guys saw that video. But UK Finance is on the collective voice, or is the collective voice for the banking and finance industry. Again, like some of your key takeaways of like, you know, hey, I don't understand why this is a big deal. Representing more than 300 firms across the industry. Now that is a big deal. It acts to enhance competitiveness, support customers, and facilitate just that innovation. I don't understand why Quant doesn't trend as well as XRP, but I honestly think it's just because not enough of the people understand it and know it. Quant has joined, of course, as an associate member. I'll get a little bit more into what Andrew Carrier has in regards to this outline. Goes on to mention the Digital Innovation Summit is the UK Finance's flagship event. So it's a premier event, and you like the idea that you see Quant at the forefront of this particular event. This takes place on Halloween, October 31st in London, England. It brings together speakers from businesses, academia, government, and even regulators to explore the emerging technologies that will transform finance. Now, we have shared the whole thing of this guy who's a key speaker, Mr. Sabih Bazad. Remember, we did an outline talking about him. He, of course, is the head of digital assets and currency transformation at the Deutsche Bank. There's also Simon Ecott, the head of payments at NatWest Group, and Ian Stewart, who's the chief executive officer over at HSBC UK Bank. Now, in regards to Gilbert Verdian, the head honcho, he's going to be speaking there. We pointed that out, of course. And it's in regards to a session about the digital pound moderated by Paul Horlack of Santander, right? We talked about Santander quite a bit. They're going to share their experience of working on Project Rosalind. And I think at some point, when we get more into it, maybe Quant Papa chops it up. I don't know. I'm not putting pressure on Quant Papa, but he's just going to basically do it anyway because he's like an AI. Just boom. You should see the messages that Quant Papa sends me. It's like, how is this even possible? I mean, it's just like a nonstop rolling thing of just tons of information. You think we put out a lot of content? I'm telling you, we haven't even got to most of this stuff yet. But I do like that statement that Andrew Carrier has here, and that is in regards to, you know, the experience in regards to Project Rosalind. I think you're going to see a summary firsthand from Gilbert Verdian, maybe even talking about, you know, what he did with the BIS, teamed up with, for instance, Augustine Karstens, right, of the BIS. But your takeaway should be this: emerging payments, business development. And now we talked about Citi, and we're going to confirm some things here in a bit. Shout out to Quant Papa again, because I did get into the PDF and I did do a Control F because I was like, I'm not going to sit here and read this whole thing all day because I read all day anyway, right? But I posted on Twitter for the naysayers, just like, oh, this is just a nothing burger. It's not a nothing burger. It's one thing to have proof to trump the people that say, you know, oh, it's just a nothing burger, right? So here's the thing. Tony McLaughlin shares the stage with Gilbert Verdian in regards to emerging payments and business development, right? From Citi, Tom Mutton, CBDC director of the Bank of England. We understand how big that is, of course, the BIS. So Quant will indeed have a presence. That's one of your key takeaways. And they're going to share more of demonstrating the whole Overledger platform, right? We like to see a little bit more of that. I have a demo from, I believe, Facebook in regards to shows the whole thing of the XRPL and whatnot. You know, being able to switch quickly to XRPL or pretty much just about anything they want to switch to in the matter of like, you know, one click. On the bottom, you have some more tags. You have associations, Digital Innovation Summit, financial institutions, partners, all these key things, UK finance. Now, jumping into the main part of this outline, I want to share this with you guys. When you go over to the ukfinance.org site, you will see what is basically mentioned here. And you have associate members of the UK finance, their firms, so on and so forth. It has a member list, right, from A to Z. So I thought naturally, all right, let's check out Q for Quant. In the process of doing so, you will see, boom, right here, Quant. I even decided, like, what about V for, like, Vodafone, right? Well, yeah, I'm ahead of you. Boom, Vodafone UK. And I've done a deep dive about that thanks to some of the, you know, content and research from Quant Papa. But Vodafone should be looked upon as, like, you know, Verizon back in the mid-2000s. Like here in the United States, Vodafone is basically like the Verizon of the UK. And again, remember that Quant network connection. We already established that. Getting more into this, why it's significant. Check this out. I mean, this is not exactly the whole thing about UK finance, but Quant Papa wants to bring this to your attention. So it says 12 hours ago, not exactly 12 hours ago, probably maybe like a day or more. Who knows? Might be even older than that. LackChain, the reference, says, thanks to ISO standards TC307 for letting us express our interest in joining their activities. Right. The Quant network standard, the Gilbert Verdian standard. We hope our intent statement for this collaboration meets your approval. We thank the technical committee, it says, ISO TC 307 for, you know, having us. And of course, Gilbert thanks them. Very glad to have LAC Network join ISO TC 307 and help progress blockchain standards. Sorry about that. I didn't want to sneeze on a live stream. You know, can you imagine if I sneezed all the time? It'd be one thing of like crypto Hulk coughs all the time, right? I'd be known as this guy that sneezes all the time. You know, it's just like, can this brother get a freaking Luden's cough drop or something, right? No, the answer is no. Can Maximus just get some nasal spray? The answer is also no on that. I don't want to get addicted to that. I don't want to be known as the guy that snorts a bunch of nasal spray up my nose 24/7 either, right? Anyway, Max, get back on topic, right? Yes. Anyway, so with that said, Gilbert Verdian was very glad to have LackChain join those standards and help progress, right? I think I already mentioned that. Now, getting into this a little bit more, I want to share this tab, and I found this in the PDF, and I basically state what? If you've been following the whole thing of our RLN QNT connection, Jpmorgan, Citi, some people are like, oh, that's just speculative. You're just assuming. All right, you literally have to have everything proven to you and in writing. So like I said, I posted this like roughly a few minutes before tonight's show. It said QNT for those who only look at the thumbnail. Again, back to the whole thing of why I stayed with JASMY earlier. For those who, or XRP, excuse me. For those who only look at the thumbnail, never look at the presented material because DYOR, do your own research, takes effort. We already made Jpmorgan connection and Citi to RLN. Here you go, right? In regards to Quant, knows Polygon as well. And like I mentioned, yeah, knows Polygon as well. Why? Because Polygon is also part of the quantum financial system. I'm going to blow this up for you guys, and I'll blow it up even that much more for you guys here in a second. Because there's always going to be naysayers. You know, I have people like literally from the XRP community telling me that I'm a liar. I mean, I'm not going to get butthurt about it, but it just proves to me that people look at the thumbnail and it says something like, for instance, flip of the switch event imminent or something like that. And they're like, you're a liar. But in the actual video, it's like, no, not really. I didn't, you know, I kind of backed this up. But anyway, plain as day, what does it say? You have this right here. Let me just double check the settings. I think we're good on this. Yeah. What's this analysis? Well, it was carried out a while ago that, you know, on whether decentralized or centralized infrastructures are more architecturally viable. The analysis revealed that decentralized tech has significant advantages, that RLN can benefit from, particularly on the tokenization theory. I talked you guys' ears off since especially I think it was last Saturday about tokenization. Maybe getting tired of hearing about it. But it's that theory in regards to tokenization, integrity, transparency, and privacy. The discovery phase technology work also focus on a comparative analysis of the technical platforms that could be best fit, listen to this part, in regards to RLN architecturally. After initial research, the analysis was validated by an information gathering exercise with key technology platforms. And here's your boil it, mash it, stick it in a stew. These included Corda, R3. Remember, we did R3 for both Quant and also XRP. And of course, everybody knows about the whole thing with XDC. But yeah, there's R3. You have Adhara, Millicent, and of course, boom, Quant, even highlighted. I literally highlighted that one on that particular one. Polygon, Canton. By the way, Quant Papa sent me a bunch of things about Canton Network. I got to wrap my head around that a little bit more. I sent a message like, hey, I'm not going to get into that tonight, but we're going to get more into that later. But again, guys, Quant and Polygon, but especially Quant. There was also detailed analysis on quorum, parity, and Hyperledger Besu. Ooh. Who covered the whole thing about Hyperledger Besu in regards to interoperability for the future of JASMY? I'm just throwing that in there. So you have all this thing about RLN partitions, adoption. Look at what it mentions. Commercial banks. On that part says no, but it gives you examples of like what's yes, commercial bank wholesale partition on the what network with API integrating external platforms. I wonder what the heck that could be. So earlier mentions Quant, literally, just in case you missed it again, boom, Quant. And then you got this option 1A of what? API integrating external platforms. I wonder what the heck could that be? Quant really stands out when it comes to APIs, among other things. You have examples of option 2, commercial bank partitions and central bank wholesale partition and the shared ledger and integration with central bank and retail CBDC via core ledger APIs. Remember the example we gave you the other day of our CBDCs, retail CBDCs? Again, guys, Quant, Bank of International Settlements, Bank of England. Then also giving this whole thing about RLN with also who? Some of the ones that are more local here in the United States, your Jpmorgans, your Citis. Cities is obviously more worldwide. So that's a big deal. Getting more into what we have. Let's share this. So I'm going to pull this up. Back to the UK finance, because that's the big update. So on the UK finance site, talks about RLN. How do we know that? Well, RLN stands for Regulated Liability network, UK discovery phase. UK finance, key additional considerations of this experimentation phase. Exploring includes the following: requirement of wallets and sub-wallets, offline payments across all forms of money. Remember the outline? I don't know if anybody even pays attention to this stuff. Sometimes I think some of you guys do, but a lot of people just don't watch it. You know, somebody mentioned to me, Max, don't be down in the dumps about not getting much views. You want to know something? I will cover Quant whether it gets 100 views or 10,000 or 100,000 views. But he is right, and it was encouraging. He said, at the height of the bull market, people will want to come back and find out about Quant. But in reality, when they do, it'll be too late. They'll find out about it, but you know, they're part of the FOMO. You know what I mean? Think of how many people could have learned about this now and accumulated now. We talk about Quant like at $85 roughly. You know, oh my gosh! Like, what about when it's, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars? So look what it says. Rosalind APIs on what? RLN ledger. Notice the key thing when it comes to RLN. We gave you numerous examples. If you've been following the content in regards to Jpmorgan, Citi, Rosalind, obviously, Bank of International Settlements, Bank of England. You see how it all comes full circle back to what? Quant with the overledger. Getting more into this, a little bit more from, I believe, UK finance. Scope of discovery phase. I'm not going to read all this, but I will read the third paragraph. When exploring the consumer domestic use case, a number of other use cases were suggested, such as the home buying journey, purchasing concert tickets. Remember I talked about this? Remember how somebody said, maybe it was Cool Cat Crypto. This is not me picking on you, Cool Cat. I respect you, Cool Cat. There's probably some other people. Do we have examples of like a QRC20 token? Like has anybody even on the retail side try to do tokenization from Quant's overledger? The answer is obviously yes. It's Galileo protocol. Now, I'm not invested into Galileo protocol. I have covered it quite a bit in the past, but I just decided there was other, you know, better opportunities. But excuse me, allergies kind of kicking in. But the key thing is the tokenization of another utility layer for Galileo, the OX. You can go look into it for yourself right now. The tokenization of movie tickets and concert tickets. This example literally solidifies or backs that up. You know, purchasing concert tickets, marketplace platform payments, for example, food delivery. Example of more than 30 potential retail use cases listed in Project Rosalind final report. So, you know, we do have examples of if, you know, LeoX tokenizing using Overledger and creating QRC20 tokens. What about NFTs? QRC 721 smart contract NFTs through Overledger. But this final report tested the potential functionality, adoption, and innovation of a retail CBDC in what? The UK. It was suggested that these use cases should be considered in any experimentation phase, and it would be beneficial, think about it, to explore how they could be delivered in all forms of retail digital money rather than by retail CBDC only. Huh. All? Yes, all forms of retail digital money. When we talk about your on-ramps and off-ramps, when we talk about widespread adoption, this gives you the example, boom, plain as day of how that works. Getting more into this, again, back to the Quant site, Quant network, you know, just kind of reiteration. All right, there's something else I want to get into, and it's basically Versana. This is going to be like the part 2 of the segment that we have tonight. A little bit more of that detailed coverage from Quant Papa, right? So maybe at this point you're finally, I guess you say, convinced. In reality, I'm not really trying to convince anybody, and I just present the material. You take it as you will. If Quant's your thing, great. If not, hey, I'm not trying to sell you. It's not financial advice. But I do want to give you something different other than the whole thing of RLN, Citi, Jpmorgan, all that stuff. let's take you into another thing that Quant Papa wants us to share with you guys and so on. And I do as well. Versana. Have you heard of them? Do you know what they are? Well, let's get into that. So for one, Versana is transparency, efficiency, velocity. Versana is an industry-backed data and technology company on a mission to transform the syndicated loan market from front to back. Ooh, you know, I probably don't do as good of a job as I used to, you know, a long time ago when I first started this channel. For some of you guys are the hardcore Maximus crypto fanatics, if there is a few. I'm sure there is a few. I'm sorry. If you notice at the very bottom, I covered Clearpool quite a bit. Did like over 30 videos on it. I might start covering it a little bit more, but here's why. With Clearpool, they are the tokenization of a capital markets ecosystem. The tokenization of DeFi lending. When I see this, I'm like, that reminds me kind of like a Clearpool. But we're obviously talking about Quant, not necessarily Clearpool. But you got to keep in mind some of the statements here. Built on by innovators for experts, backed by syndicated loan markets, leading global banks. Again, leading global banks. I had a guy from Will Fix's channel. He said, you mentioned the word global. I'm unsubscribing. I thought, it is what it is, right? It's what happens and so on. Nothing against that guy. But, you know, I got to mention what's presented. It literally says it plain as day, right? So, banks designed by seasoned loan market professionals from all corners of the ecosystem, a financial ecosystem. Remember how we've been talking about this the last 4 or 5 days or 4 or 5 videos? I talked about watch out for the ones that are part of this financial ecosystem because that's where the big money is. How much will your asset as in QT be worth in the future? Versana delivers the modern foundation to transform the asset class with innovative solutions. Now, draw your attention to the right side of the screen. You will see your Jpmorgans, your Citi. See how it all comes together? Deutsche Bank. Remember Deutsche Bank? You have one of their, their CEO of Deutsche Bank? He's going to be sharing the stage with Gilbert Verdian. And also, what's his name from R3? I mean, come on, guys. Are we not paying attention to how all this big industrial, innovators or institutional innovators are coming in all together at a conference on Halloween? That's crazy. So, yeah, you have Bank of America, Jpmorgan, Citi, Credit Suisse, or Credit Suisse. I can't remember how you pronounce it. Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. I think it's a big deal. Getting more into this, why point this out? Well, again, coming full circle into the whole thing. How long have we been covering the whole thing of Finaxtra? Remember, we did a few deep dives about that. But most importantly, look at the day here. October 10th, 2023. More of that confirmation of what? Citi. Syndicated loan data comes to Versana platform. Don't you just love how Quant Papa ties in everything? I mean, I just basically present it. Sometimes I give you guys some of my own research too, of course. But I give credit where credit's due. Quant Papa is the GOAT when it comes to quant deep dive research, right? Think about it. If he has the name Quant Papa, he's going to have to back that up, right? But this platform, Versana, Citi, all that data, what the heck is that? So the source originally comes from Versana, talks about how on October 10th, which was, what is that, guys? 8 days ago? Hold on. I was making sure to check the date. I always have a bill that's due on the 19th. Anyway, I wish I'll just pay it off, after the show. That's besides the point. But the key thing is Versana on the 10th, which would be 8 days ago, announced that the founding investor, which is Citi, is now connected to its transformative digital data platform. I wonder how that is. We talk about interoperability, enabling syndicated loans agented by Citi to be available to Versana's growing subscriber base in real time. Now, when we talk about these crazy market caps and we tie all this stuff in, this is another example of how Quant really stands at the forefront. It's like, geez, man, APIs, the tokenization of retail and wholesale CBDCs. Now this whole thing of, syndicated loans agented by who? By Citi. Like, what? Are you kidding me? I mean, not to pull a Little John, but what? Yeah, right? Anyway, Citi joins Versana's other 3 founding investors, Bank of America, Credit Suisse, Jpmorgan, in centralizing, and I want to highlight this, global reference, historical transaction, position, and floating rate contract details for the what? Yeah, the 7 trillion syndicated loan and private credit markets. Try to wrap your head around that for a second. Thousands of additional facilities are expected to be available on the platform in the coming months as Versana continues to do what? Scale. We're always talking about scalability. And on board, I love this statement because, when we talk about utility in motion, on board the 3 additional agent banks, which are Deutsche Bank, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, all of which have done what? Invested in Versana earlier this year. Oh, I didn't realize that. Right. Why didn't you realize it? Because it doesn't get shared in the mainstream news. It doesn't. This is why I will keep telling you guys, pay attention to your community-driven news. There's nothing wrong with paying attention to the mainstream news, but we know for the most part, they're only going to look at maybe like the top 5, top 10, if that. And they're going to give you like basically 2 narratives, crashes, and when this stuff is already too late. Like, hey, you missed out on Bitcoin when it was 69K on 11/11/2021. But I'm not missing out on my QNT. And if anything, I'm paying more attention to what the heck is going on with QNT. And this is why QNT is tied for with XRP for me for my number ones. So back to the whole thing, coming full circle. Check out this quote. With Citi's connectivity to Versana, we continue to deliver on our mandate. Oh, Max, I love how you do this, bro. Man, I always talk about mandates, utility, and motion. Yeah. Sorry, I had to do that because I have been talking about mandates. I've been talking about mandates for the longest time. I'm not impressed with things going live. I'm impressed with a freaking mandate because a mandate says we do get to that path of utility and motion, and we do get to that path towards generational wealth, and we do get to the point where when Moon becomes when Jupiter. Hear me out. Digitalizing mandates, centralizing administrative agents' data on what? One platform. Are we not paying attention to this across the corporate loan asset class? My God. I love you, Quant Papa. You're awesome. You're killing it. You're killing it, my friend. And here's why he's killing it. Plain as day, we're not making this up. The proof is in the pudding. Go to Finextra. Verify it for yourself. So, Versana's founding CEO, Cynthia E. Sachs, says, quote, we thank Citi for their tireless work in making this launch a reality. Were you even aware of this launch? I'm just saying, right? Most people aren't. This is not me making fun of you. I love and respect you guys. But my thing is this. I pray for blessings among all of us, right? Like what Will Fix is stating. Why is that? Because you know what? We work hard for what we have. We will believe that there is a better thing for us. People call it hopium. Call it whatever you want. But when you see confirmation like this, then you know what you hold and you know why you hold it. We are thrilled for Citi to join their founding investor peers in offering a total of what? 1,500 facilities, 900 billion in commitments on the Versana platform to their what? Institutional clients. So again, guys, mandate, institutional clients, 1,500 facilities, 900 billion in commitments, 7 trillion syndicated loan and private credit markets. Oh my gosh, are we not paying attention to the big money? I think we are. And with that said, let me just double check a few things. I know that was a good part. Maybe I just ended on that, but I got to give you a little bit more because this is good. And you know me, I like to pound it home a little bit more. Check this out for a second. From Quant Pop again, taking the screenshot. Versana. Today, we're excited to share the founding investor, Citi, is now connected to our transformative digital platform, like I mentioned before. Citi agency syndicated loans now live on Versana's platform. Also, 3 founding investors, again, Bank of America, Credit Suisse, and Jpmorgan. Understanding the whole thing of RLN, and understanding this other thing on the bottom of your screen, posted on October 10th, centralizing global reference, historical transaction, position, floating rate contract, details for the 7 trillion syndicated loan plus private credit markets. Again, kind of explain a little bit different, same meaning. All right, what about Versana for a second? Because you may be wondering, I still don't get the whole thing of Versana. Well, let's just take it to the main highlight, just in case you're like, okay, Max, you talk about Versana, I still don't really get it. Here it is. They are an industry-backed digital data and technology company on a mission to transform the syndicated loan and private credit markets by digitally capturing agent banks' data on a real-time basis. Versana provides unprecedented transparency into corporate loan levels, details, and portfolio positions, bringing efficiency and velocity to the entire asset class. Again, kind of like a different way of explaining it, but pounding it home that much more. Again, it's a centralized platform. Participants are rest assured that they can access loan markets' most credible source of deal information. They have supportive investors. They are, of course, becoming, fast becoming the technology of choice. This is what I love, because when we talk about, do you have a platform where the thing goes live, you have mandates? Okay, that's great, Max. Will they come back? Yes. They will come back to use the platform. How so? Because it's the platform of choice to usher, the long-awaited modernization of the syndicated loan market. If you have a platform of choice, people will come back. All right. And I shared that point or that part, so I'm not going to get back into that. And yeah, this pounds at home just a little bit more about the whole Digital Pound Foundation. So again, this summit, Digital Innovation Summit 2023, this is referenced from the source of the Digital Pound Foundation. We know that Gilbert Verdin used to be part of it. Can you imagine all the fudders a while ago were saying that he got fired? No, he resigned because he already finished his goals of what he would look to accomplish with the Digital Pound Foundation. So you have this example. And if things were so bad between Gilbert and the Digital Pound Foundation, well, you could sure as the heck fool me with this statement. Digital Pound Foundation's policy lead, Jana Pache, will also be on stage. We know about her. Digital Innovation Summit 2023 with Gilbert Verdin. Again, all these guys that we just referenced earlier. Shows about the panel. We'll blow this up a little bit more. Delegates will hear about the next steps for the Digital Pound. Key speakers, Tony McLaughlin, Emerging Markets from Citi, Tony Mutton, CBDC Director, Bank of England, Gilbert Verdin, Founder and CEO of Quant, and then, of course, Rodney Garrett, Senior Advisor of the Bank of International Settlements. And last but not least, of course, Jan Pache. The key thing is this, an all-star team, like the 92 dream team, if you will, of your digital innovators of in the financial sectors of the world to talk about the digital pound. And then what's after that? What about when the digital pound goes live? And when we get some of that in motion? I'm just being honest. Quant, people say, oh, this is going to crash to $40. You want to know something? If it did, oh my gosh, I would buy, that would give me like a little over 2.2 or whatever it is, Quant on my $100 per, some people just throw $100 at something. I wouldn't be complaining about that. Talking about a nice DCA, depending on, or not even depending on anything, just like whatever type of budget you have, that's not too bad. All right. I think I'm almost done wrapping this up. Yeah. We talked a lot about RLN. Yeah, let's just share these last few things. So a little bit more from Quant Papa. So a point not mentioned in the report is that 3 of the participants, Barclays, let me just double check you can see this. I don't know if you can. Okay, cool. You can't see it. So Barclays, Lloyds, and Santander are also involved with Finality, UK-based infrastructure targeting token-based wholesale. Again, I was talking about earlier, your wholesale CBDCs and so on. The wholesale cross-border payments using a different model to RLN. So if RLN pursues the same use case, there would be quite a bit of duplication of purpose. But those participating in both projects have a front row seat to the regulatory struggles. Finality is also viewed as one of the potential RLN settlement. Now we're talking about settlements. Oh yeah, Yeah, we went there. Access alongside an API linked to the real-time gross settlement system, RTGS, and a wholesale CBDC. I'm glad that Quant Papa didn't leave that up. That really, really pounds it home. Getting into this last part, our interpretation is to achieve consistency. Look at this for a second, guys. Pay UK potentially might host the programmability aspect. Pay UK operates several existing UK payment infrastructures, and if hosted, the functionality tokenized deposits, because we talked about that a few days ago, and a CBDC digital pound could share the same programmability infrastructure. Extending that logic, Pay UK could operate the RLN, but we already gave you examples of what will be operating on RLN. So again, that's just from Pay UK side. I don't want you to get confused. We're like, oh, this just could be, right? Are we following this? Retail tokenized deposits will involve a large number of merchants, participants, which would need to be simulated in the early stages. And again, back to the whole thing to just pound it home more, right? Literally line up all these pegs on the board, right? Like a whack-a-mole or whatever, right? Just pounding it home. The RLM mentioned potentially building on the work from the Bank of England's digital pound project, Project Rosalind. So there you go on regards to that. And then I guess 11 hours ago, this comes from Banco Central Europe. This is going to talk more about the digital pound for a second, or digital euro, excuse me. Our governing, hold on a second. Yeah, the Central Bank of Europe, Banco Central Europe, means the same thing. Our governing council, again, 11 hours ago from LinkedIn, our governing council has decided to move to the next phase of the digital euro project, which will build on the findings collected over the last 2 years. This decision means that we will keep working to make sure our single currency is fit for the future. It does not necessarily mean we will issue a digital euro. The digital euro will complement banknotes. Remember how we talked about, like, it's not replacing, it's complementing? There's another perfect example, meaning Europeans would always have the choice on how to pay. Now, in closing, I believe this is the closing part. Hold on. No, it's not. Almost. Yeah, about 95% there. We're going to play this little video because it did come out 11 hours ago. And this is just, I don't know, this is going to be the icing on the cake. Minute 33 seconds.
Imagine a digital single payment solution that could be used for any kind of payment throughout the euro area. Guess what? It could become a reality. A digital euro. Easy, safe, fast, reliable. Digital money from the European Central Bank at your fingertips whenever you need it. But how would it work? Say you've gone for a meal with a friend and you want to split the bill. Simple. Open the digital euro wallet on your smartphone, check your balance, enter the amount to pay your friend, confirm your transfer. Your friend will receive the money instantly, free of charge. It doesn't matter which country you're in or who your payment provider is. Payments are still made instantly, even offline. It's also easy to use the digital euro at your favorite local shops. Unlock your device, place it on the terminal, authenticate, make the payment online or offline. If you want, you can also use a physical card. What about e-commerce? The digital euro is also available when you're buying something online. Be it digital or physical, a euro will always be a euro and have the same value irrespective of format. Let's embrace the digital era with the digital euro.
Are you not seeing how this is all finally coming together? I hope you do. And in wrapping things up, let's just pull this up. Yeah, here we go. Originally posted December 10th, 2018, because sometimes people just don't understand where that reference comes from. me come back into the screen. The 3 lines of code. You know how many times we reference this? Like it says, that's all, guys. That's all. Let's just blow this up a little bit more. Yes. The 3 lines of code. That is all it takes to connect your enterprise to a blockchain. Overledger makes it possible. Can we show you what that looks like? Yeah, we can. Let's blow this up even that much more. Oh, maybe I won on that one. All right. Yeah, that one's actually the biggest I'll make it. So there you see it. This is what is representative in the code. And look what it shows here, guys. You know, some people are saying that I'm a liar and I make stuff up. I'm not making up anything. I have no reason to make up anything. Look what it shows here. I mean, this is coding. Import from Overledger SDK, as in software development kit, if you're wondering what those abbreviations mean, from @Quant Network /Overledger SDK. Look what it mentions on line 3. You have const Overledger equals new Overledger SDK map ID. I mean, this is, I believe, I don't know if it's C++, it might be C#, but anyway, you go further down, DLTS, we know distributed ledger technologies. Look what it states there: DLT Bitcoin, DLT Ethereum, DLT what? Ripple. So when I mention that example, and I'll later on, I'll try to, I guess you could say, I'll try to record right from Facebook, because you can't just, I don't know. I guess I could use a plugin to download the video, but it's kind of a pain. I'll try to record a different way. There's a guy on Facebook that has the Overledger demo of showing the Overledger switching to the XRPL instantaneously, and we shared that at one point before, but it's kind of I want to get one that's a little bit better quality. All right, so in the future I'll try to show you that. But again, guys, right in the code, DLT what? Ripple. 3 lines of code, 1 on the top, then you have some of these other ones, right? But for the most part, 3 lines of code. This was what makes it attractive for institutions to build on Overledger. They don't want to have to go through all the technical stuff. They want it to be seamless. They want it to be immutable. They want it to be future proof, right? As Gilbert Verdian would say. So in closing, that concludes our Quant coverage of the night. And at the end of the day, what are you choosing to do with Quant? Are you getting flooded by people that just, I don't know, have opinions? I mean, of course, I'm sharing my opinion, but I'm also sharing research. I'm taking that deep dive to show you some of the things that, you know, Quant is connected with. This has honestly been probably, I would say, about a 6-part series at this point, of tying everything in regards to RLN, Jpmorgan, Citi. Then we give you some of these other examples. We'll continue to give you more examples, right? Big up to the one and only Quant Papa once again. You know, we can't necessarily do daily Quant coverage. It might seem like it, but we definitely get into it. So thank you again, Quant Papa. Thank you for staying up and watching this. My gosh, right? He's in the audience. And I do appreciate you guys too.